All right, this is new. So welcome to my first live stream on YouTube. Usually I do Periscope, so this is the first time I've actually done it via my YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe. I haven't posted a video for a while, so I've promised my subscribers that I would put some content up, which I will do in the coming days. But this is more not just about business and not about sales and all that. This is also about football. This is about life. So for those of you who are tuning in, please feel free to join in the live chat on the right-hand side of your screen. You can add comments up there. I'll say something quickly. So there we go. Welcome all. I managed to fucking spell welcome wrong. Excuse my language. And we're going to talk. Look, it's very easy for me to come on here and do videos when Peterborough United are winning football games and they're top of the league and whatever else. But that's not me. People get me wrong. Like they always go, oh, you're retweeting when you're top of the table. I know a few Ipswich fans were digging me out recently. I don't use Twitter on the weekends. I made a conscious decision this year. I'd stay off it, win or lose on weekends. I will during the week, not a problem at all. And win, lose or draw, you'll always hear from me. I don't shirk. I don't hide. I did say to Phil just now, I must be losing my lure a little bit. He sent over questions. It was only about 25 of them. Usually I get about 50. So maybe I didn't give enough notice, or maybe 6 p.m. is too early in the UK. But there's a few people tuning in here and joining me. Again, it's very different to Periscope, as on Periscope, usually you see people popping up all over the screen. So I'm doing it from my home office here in the US. Anyone here who's trying to zone in on all the books behind me, they're all my wife's books, okay? That's where you see all these romantic filth novels up there and everything else. Don't ever dig at me, any book you notice up there. Nothing to do with me. Same with the paintings and stuff. I'm not into art. My missus is. So she usually stacks stuff in my office that needs to be hung up. Not that I'm going to do any hanging up of anything. So anyway, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday at like 1:05 here in the US. I always spend Wednesdays at home with my wife. It's the one day a week that we spend a few hours after I drop the kids to school. I recommend anyone who's fortunate enough to be in the same position to do the same and have a bit of fun with your spouses. It's a great day for us to catch up. So let's get down to a few questions. Let's get down to a few. You can obviously hit me up on Twitter right now live. I've got Twitter next to me. You can hit me up on the actual YouTube itself, or you can alternatively email in. So let's have a bit of crack together. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about life. Any topic you want, even woke topics you can discuss. And we'll get on to that in a little bit. Going back to the game last night, I watched it here from the States. I'll be honest, I turned it off at 10 minutes to go. I could have bet money that we were not going to score a goal. Even Marcus's penalty, you just know sometimes body language. I just knew he was going to miss it for some reason. When Marcus misses penalties, and he's missed obviously I think 3 or whatever else in his career, he's an excellent penalty taker, but they're always low. And I don't know why I have to say it to the lad. You know, when he goes high and hard, he scores all of them. When he goes low, they're always saved. So that was frustrating, but it's difficult to dig him out because he's had such a tremendous season, and him and the front players have put us in a really, really good position. So it was a shit night, a bad performance. Well done to Shrewsbury. Defensively, probably one of the strongest teams in the league. We knew that before we played them. Definitely didn't give us a whiff or a sniff of anything. Their goalie pretty much had a night off. So frustrating for us. And after the Blackpool game, which we definitely deserved something out of that game, last night was a real kick in the cojones. But it's one that we're going to learn from. It's one that we move on. And yes, we all get angry at the time, and I was angry as anyone. The gaffer is definitely an angry man. He rang me while he was on the coach, so whispering down the front of the coach, and all the players could hear him. And but we spoke today, and he's in great form. And look, we got a couple of big juicy cup games coming up. We got Stevenage, which is a club that's very close to us. We've done a lot of great business with Stevenage over the years, so it'll be great for us to go there. Hopefully, they'll have an off day. We'll have a good day. We need to win in the FA Cup, so we'll have a strong side out. They'll want to have a romantic cup day, and they want to go through in the cup as well. Financially, it's important for, particularly for January coming up, that with financial fair play, we get some good football income, and the cups are definitely one of those parts of it that helps. So we need to definitely win that one on Saturday. We've got a great game on Tuesday against our old rivals, Cambridge United. I know the gaffer is definitely going to be playing a lot of our teenagers in that game. So again, it'll be a great exercise to see how far they're developing and how they're coming on, and maybe we might see the full debut of Ricky J. Jones from the start if he's fit. So that'll be exciting as well. One of the most exciting young strikers we've had coming from our academy in a long time, and he'd probably rival Usain Bolt in a 100 meters race how quick he is. So all those exciting things to come. Let's get to a few questions. I've got one up here. Sal McCann has asked, will there be more investment in January to the midfield area? Yeah, I mean, look, January's 8 weeks away. And again, since the summer, we've always had it in mind, are we going to add one or two if we can in January? If financial fair play allows it, it was tough to juggle all of that in the summer. We definitely will be adding one or two, and there definitely be one or two periphery players in the squad leaving. So where are we going to be adding? I would say you could probably hazard a guess, central midfield or in that area, the diamond. There's definitely going to be probably an addition. I would say we're probably going to add one more central defender as well for competition. So yeah, there's definitely going to be strengthening. Myself and Jason and Randy are the type of owners that will always back the gaffer. This January will be no different for any other football club. You always look to improve. We definitely won't be doing late business in January because I hate doing last minute business. It's never worked well for us. Deadline day signings, it's just never worked. So if we're going to do business, it's going to be early. If we lose anyone, and we don't want to lose any players, but you can never guarantee anything, again, they will have to be replaced. So I'm hoping January is a pretty quiet month. I'm hoping that the form of the team dictates that we don't have to do a lot in January, if anything. What else we got here? Devon, thoughts on recent performances? Not just me, but I made the trip to Blackpool and Shrewsbury. Thank you, Devon, for your support. You know, to go to those 2 away games, that shows serious away support, that is, because that's some serious mileage on your clock. Look, we're a little bit up and down away from home. Me and the gaffer were saying that earlier on. We're a bit Jekyll and Hyde. You're not quite sure what you're going to get from us when we go away. We've won 3 out of 9. We should have won 5 with the Wickham, the Tranmere collapses when we were leading by 2 goals. So I guess we're finding our feet away from home. The players will come good on that. I'm sure we'll find a way where we're a lot stronger away from home and we're still as good as we are at home. So it's finding the balance. You always say you want your 3 points at home, you want your point away from home, and that's the perfect mix. But we're behind that 8 ball now on the 2 points per game, so we're going to have to win a few away games in a row. That's for sure. We're going to have to improve. Hazard Callum 13. Latest in George Cooper's deal with Argyle. Look, I spoke to George on, what day are we on? When did he ring me? Friday. Coops rang me on Friday. We had a great chat. He's a great lad, great young lad. We spent a lot of money on George. We spent nearly north of 400 grand with Crew buying George Cooper when he was 19, 20. And it hasn't quite worked for him yet at Polish. And we're delighted he's doing well at Argyle. Ideal scenario for me, he kills it at Plymouth Argyle. He comes back to us. He's still got a long-term contract with us. And he comes in and joins what we're doing because the way we're playing, it suits George Cooper, that's for sure. However, Argyle do have an option to make it a permanent transfer. It's a hefty transfer fee, so that'll be down to them. We'll speak to them, obviously, in the new year, towards the end of the season. There's no pressure from either side. I'm happy for George as the manager, for him to do well there and help them win promotion. So it's a win-win for both clubs. David Johnson, how would you want your players to react if one player was racially abused by fans? It's a hot topic at the moment, and it seems to be that side of football is getting worse and worse, whereas it should be getting better, particularly in the 21st century. You know, there's no room for any of that nonsense in our game anymore. Not that there should have ever been, but nowadays, no way should that happen. What I'd want us to do, and I'd want our fans to do, is isolate the person who did it to the stewards and let's get them out of the stadium. I'm not sure I buy into the argument that all the journalists are saying about players need to leave the pitch, we need to call the game off. I'm not sure what purpose that's going to serve. I get that, you know, the home fans, the away fans, whoever do it, they're going to be punished. The game's over. Everyone's going to feel it. It's going to be very dramatic. I'm not sure the players want that either. I watched the England team and what they went through in Bulgaria, and testament to Raheem Sterling and them. And they stayed out there and they won the game and they did it. And it's a really, really tough one. So I'm not sure which way to go, because some people are saying, well, the club who's found, you know, for racially abusing a player should lose points, should have a game taken away from them. You're going to go down that route and it's going to get really messy if people, then you're going to have fans planted at grounds. They're going to be in there on purpose against promotion rivals to cost them points, cost them games. Somebody could be losing an FA Cup tie. I'm not saying players would do that, but you're opening yourself up for that. You're winning an FA Cup game and the other team decide, well, our players heard something and we're all walking off the pitch, the tie's over, and then it's replayed from 0-0. So as much as we want to get rid of this in the game, there has to be a proper thought process in this, and there has to be checks and balances, and we need to rid it from our game because it's absolutely disgusting, and it's gone on too much now for too long. So the powers to be need to get together. Whatever they decide, I will support. Even if they decide that the game's abandoned, I'll support that as well, because it's more important than football. It's more important than everything else. We have lots of players who've gone through it. I've heard it, I've seen it, and it's just despicable. So the sooner we get rid of that out of the game and the people who do it out of the game, the better. Sorry, I don't know what's happened here. For some reason my phone rang there and I lost the screen, so I'm gonna have to turn off my phones. That was actually Barry ringing me. So we're gonna turn off that and turn off this as well, so this doesn't happen again. Where were we? So, lots of high okays. David Broccoli, how's the clothing company coming? Yeah, going really well. It's really, really early process. It's one business. I'm not rushing. Myself and my partner are going to put a lot of money into it. We want to get it right. So lots of stuff and lots of planning going on with that. Gian says, looking better than I thought after 2 recent posh matches. I'm on one of these hardcore diets and fitness workouts. One thing that's helped me with the 2 losses is I've gone out and walked 6-7 miles after each defeat, because I've just been, so my blood's been boiling. And so instead of talking to anyone or ringing anyone or texting anyone, straight out, I'm hitting the pavement, I'm just walking. I've got my headphones on, listening to podcasts, which is my new thing, and I'm just killing time, and it's helping get the weight off as well. So yeah, it's you lose football games, you do look a bit haggard and old. So hopefully I'm bucking the trend and there won't be too many more of them. Harvey Davis, Gwion Edwards playing as a right back for Ipswich recently. Thoughts? Oof, wow. Okay, I thought they had the best right back in the league. Is he injured or something? I'm surprised at that. But Gwion for me is an out and out winner. Lee Dunn, have you had any offers for the front 3 yet? Yes. Brandon Reed has said Beavers out. Again, one of our posh fans who's got their head up their ass. I was going through all the statistical analysis today for the last few months. I get a report at the start of every month that highlights everything about League One and League Two and the players. Beavers statistically is the 6th best centre back in League One at the moment on all stats. Yes, he's made errors and mistakes, and he's on the mistakes list with other players and whatever else, but it's absolutely ridiculous to say Beavers out. He's joined a new club, he's dropped the level, he's come from a football club that under a certain manager we're playing a certain different way. He's had to adjust to our way of playing. He's captain of our club. I'm fully behind him, and he's getting rid of those mistakes, and I'm convinced he's going to be the player we thought he would, and his statistics already show he is. Johnny Posh, are you as embarrassed as me that our city just doesn't turn up for home games? I'm not buying into that, Johnny. We're getting nearly 8,000 as an average. Our average attendances are up massively. We're doing really well on that front, and we're really happy with it. That's something there's serious growth in, and that's not just including free tickets with the schools program that Jason's running with Phil and co. That's not counted. So our attendances are on the way that way. As long as we keep winning at home, as long as we're high up the table, there will be growth in the attendance. That will just get better and better. So no, as an ownership, we're really happy with where we're going with that. Where else have we got here? Aaron Diskin. George Edmondson says hi, or say hi. Listen, good young centre back. I'm sure he's enjoying his time at Rangers, and he's at a terrific club. We didn't get him. So good luck to him. I bet you've got a couple of calls for our front 3, yeah, non-stop. Leon Davis, any news about our stadium plans? We're staying at London Road, moving to a new stadium. Look, everyone knows the deal's done to buy the stadium. That will happen in the new year. It's already set in stone. It's contracted. The MOU's done. Now we're working on other future plans. We're working on the immediate aftermath of buying London Road and what we do and the improvements we have to make. We're going to be there for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Are we possibly going to be moving to another site and building a brand new stadium? Yes. Those plans are out there. Everyone knows that's what we want to do, what most of our fans want. Randy's spearheading that one. That's looking very positive. We're very optimistic about the things that are on the horizon. We've got a little team we've put together now. We've got a 5-man team where we've employed people to look at all options. That's costing us as an ownership money. We're investing serious money in it to make it happen. Working really well with a council. Everyone's on the same page about that. Lining up anyone in January? Yes, I am. Here we go. Do you think Madison's ego is a problem for the team, or could become a problem? Someone tweeted earlier about Marcus, about he's always ill, he eats the wrong food. Look, Marcus is Marcus. He is what he is. I've said this before. He would drive you absolutely mad. But again, when you look at the stats today, he was number 1 in 5 out of the 10 key stat things in League One. And, chances created, assists and goals, opposition entries, crosses into boxes. I mean, the player, he's the best player in League One by a mile. And yes, he's a pain in the arse off the pitch at times. We know that. Yes, he likes a night out in the red room. Yes, he can do things that you just want to smack the shit out of him at times and whatever else. Maybe his diet's not up there with Cristiano Ronaldo. Only Marcus can answer for that. It's obvious he should be playing at a higher level. The penny has dropped with him, and it has to drop even more. He has to live his life better. And he has to do better, because as good as he's been this season, he's not been good away from home the last few games. Even he'd be first to admit that. So he's not undroppable. And with this manager, he'll either get his act together, be more consistent, or he'll be out of the team. We've got other players. We've got other attacking players. So it's not the be-all and end-all that Marcus Maddison plays on our team. He had an off night last night. So did probably 10 other players. Our right back was probably our best player. So he's not the only one. So it'd be very difficult to criticize him. So, you know, do I think that Marcus and what he does off the pitch will derail what we're doing on the pitch? It's nonsense. His teammates love him. So don't buy into that crap. Marcus is what he is, but he's growing up, and he needs to grow up more. There's always room for improvement with him, you know. Marcus may ask, how's Dan Butler getting on? A posh Newport fan. Slow start, coming back into it. Very good last game. Not bad last night. Like to see more from him going forward. Definitely excellent defender. He's got a great rivalry with Blake Tracy. Blake Tracy, I think, is statistically the fourth best left back in League One this year at the moment in the current stats. So Butts has got a lot there to compete with, and it's great to have two great left backs. And I'm still convinced that Butler's going to be a terrific acquisition for us. Really exciting. What else here? Just bear with me. When does our kit deal expire? I think it expires at the end of this season. So there's no big news on that. The commercial will obviously release news in advance of that. So what signing has surprised you the most from Posh Dan? Definitely Blake Tracy. He's one of the ones that surprised us a lot. He's been a terrific acquisition and a great young player. But we've made some really good signings, and I think we'll see the best of them in the second half of the year. I think Reedy from last year is coming to is an example of that. Didn't start well last year. It wasn't part of the first 11. It's taken a while to settle in. Didn't start this season, and now he's almost immovable, and he's done really well. So, you know, the signings we make, we always feel really confident about them. You're not going to get all of them right, but you'd like to think you get most of them right. Here we go. Okay. David Johnson asks, and here we get political again, and 2019 is all about getting political, isn't it? And people writing you off as your one political view to an opposition political view to theirs. And that's, I hate the world my kids are grown up in. Just because you're on the left or you're on the right, you know, and you have an opinion, everyone wants to call you a racist, a misogynist. You can't be a conservative nowadays. You have to be a liberal. And if you're a conservative or you follow the Republican Party, that's it. You're a racist, you're scum. I just wish people would calm the F down, because it's just ridiculous. Someone said here, someone tweeted you about Trump. How would you react if your minority players are post that they don't agree with your views on him, as he said derogatory things about plenty of minorities? It's all in the interpretation of people. That if that's, everyone always says that when he's racist, he's this, he's that, whatever else. But I also live in America. I see how the mainstream media play it. I see how they're very much in with the left. I see how they hound the guy. And if Donald Trump cured cancer, they'd find a reason to moan about it, as illustrated last week when he took out one of the biggest terrorists in the world. And all they could moan about was how he spoke about it and about how he tweeted a picture of the dog. This is the fucking world we live in over here, particularly with the media, particularly with, unfortunately, a lot of the liberals on the left. And it's not just the left, it's more the radical left, and that's the way it's going. So if my players have an issue with my political views, that's their problem. I'm not going to change them because they have an issue with it. So I'd suggest they go to another football club. Just like I wouldn't want to sell a player based on him being a lefty, a liberal, a socialist. They're his opinions. He's free to have his own opinions and thoughts. I'm not going to judge him on those. And I'm certainly not going to not buy a player or have a player on our football club just because they support one candidate or another. So, you know, whatever happened to the world the way it should be, this is just madness. And sometimes this woke madness, it's so OTT, it drives me mad. It's like, I'll give you an example. I tweeted there was a song about Ivan, and I didn't realize and didn't know about what the song was and about obviously his private parts and everything else. And obviously it became a whole thing, and we as a club made the decision, look, we'll stop the song, we'll ask the fans not to sing the song. Ivan came out and made a statement, we spoke to him. He was all right with the song, it wasn't bothering him, it wasn't an issue for him. But we understood it was a problem for some people, and in the current environment and everything else, yes, it can be construed in a racist way. And then there's the argument, a lot of people are saying, well, can it? and can we move on from that? And are there other things we should be looking at to address? So I just put out an innocent tweet and said I hadn't heard the song. We're going to do it as a family club, and in the woke 2019 world we live in, this is what we have to do. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned the woke bit, but two of our fans reported me to kick it out. We got a complaint from the FA and kick it out about our fans saying that I used Twitter to make light of a racial situation. And again, this is the world we live in. I made a comment. I'm not going to apologize for the comment. I didn't think anything was wrong with what I said on Twitter. I stand by what I said. We did the right thing. We asked people to stop the song. But two of our fans went and snitched, to two governing bodies about me and made a complaint. And I just felt that was wrong. You're barking up the wrong tree. You wouldn't meet anybody more who hates racism and people who spout that stuff, regardless of what you think about me or my political views. So enough about that, enough about politics. Let's get back to, but if you want to hit more politics, please feel free to join the debate on here. Are we looking at Greg Doherty of Rangers from Frankie Four Eyes? I love that Frankie Four Eyes. We're looking at loads of players. I'm not going to disrespect another club and talk about their player. Rangers have got some terrific players. So we're always looking at various players that can improve our squad, improve our team. That's what we want to do. Let's go down a little bit more here. Herbie, have you undertaken a hair transplant? Really? This is all my own. All right? No hair transplant at all. I've always had a good head of hair. Luckily, my dad, who's 70, has got a good head of hair, and they always say, take after your father. So, no. But if I was bald, I'd be bald. I'd still have this. So I wouldn't worry about being bald. Ashton Smith, are you concerned about Marcus's drinking habits after games? I'm not sure Marcus has a drinking habit. Does he have a drinking habit? So Marcus likes a night out. If he has a good day at the office, he'll go out on a Saturday night. If he hasn't got a game on a Tuesday, I've got no problem with that. I always say to the players, be very careful how you act out in public. And I would say that to all of them, particularly if you lose a game of football. Go 20, 30 miles outside the city. If you have to have a night out or you want to go out with your missus or your friends, be thoughtful about where you go. But no, none of Marcus's behaviour away when he's out at night or whatever else bothers me. Matt Melton, thoughts on Christy Pym? Done okay. He's had 6 clean sheets. I think he could do better. I think he has got a lot more in him. He's 24. We're really excited about signing Christy. I think he will only get better for us. So I'm not concerned. He's made errors. He'll get over the errors. He's a young goalkeeper. We have to back him. Aaron Diskin said, I really respect your open and honesty about your football club. I wish Oldham could be the same. No comment on Oldham or the Roller. Stephen Bates, KSI or Logan Paul. That's from my son Daniel, as I'm a boxing purist. I'm the same as you, Stephen. I think the YouTube thing, look, Eddie Hearn's making a few quid. I get it. I do the same. But I won't be watching that crap. Jason Cooper, how close has Burrows got and the other youngsters to start? Very close. Kyle Barker, Harrison Burrows, Ricky J. Jones, young players like that are very close. And it's really, really tough because you have to make a decision. Do you go that way or do you not go that way? You've lost 2 away games. In your next league game, do you play a couple of youngsters knowing that you lose another game, the fans are coming for you? And we as a club have to back the gaffer on that. And we said it to him. He's under no pressure. Play the young players if you want to. If they're good enough, play them. Do not worry about results. Do not worry about breaking them in. You play those young players. It's the only way they're going to improve is if we try them out. As long as we don't kill them and overplay them, but we give them the opportunity. So I'm excited about those players. And I'd have no problem if against Burton at home, he played 3 of our teenagers. I'd have no issue whatsoever. And if they don't show up and they don't play well and it costs us, so be it. That's a decision we made as an ownership that we would back the gaffer. And that's something the gaffer has to be brave on as well. So let's see. But I'm really, really confident about where we're going with this batch of youngsters that we've got. We've got some great ones. Tasdeem Kanu was great last night. We've got Harrison. We've got Kyle. We've got Ricky breaking through. We've got young Bobby, the centre-back that we took in. He just scored the winner in the Youth Cup. He's a Ryan Bennett ball-playing centre-half. We're excited about him. So there's a real dearth of talent there coming through at the club. So keep your eyes peeled on that. Matt says, not a question, bit of appreciation. Wanted to say thank you for being genuine. Well-managed chairman, take care of the club in the right way. Thank you, Matt. I do my best. I'm not perfect. Derek Meekins, Boyd's best position. Love him, not as good as I expected. Thoughts? George is 34. We've probably overplayed him. I'll say that. I'll come out and say that. I think we have to be careful with players at that age. To play a Saturday and a Tuesday, and with the amount of miles he puts into a game, we've probably, on that respect, probably overdone it with him. And he's not been at his best, and he's at a niggle. So I think we'll see the best of George as soon as we learn how to manage him better. And I've got no problem with Boydie. I think it was a great signing. He's very good for the dressing room. He's very good for what we're trying to do as a team. And he's played a large part in putting us up near the top of the table. So you can't be too critical. Best position for me, I think, is left side of the diamond. So I think his days of playing 10 or as a waltzing winger are long gone. So that's where, for me, I think his best position is. Chris Morgan, best player in terms of attitude you've worked with. Thanks for everything you've done for your club. Boydie would be one of them. There's some other terrific ones in there, attitude-wise. We've had so many over the years, it'd be too many to mention. Here we go. What do you think of Stuart Donald having to go off Twitter? Listen, at the end of the day, he's chose to do that. That's unfortunately. Social media, and me and my wife were speaking about this the other day, particularly in the era of Trump and the era of wokeness. Social media has given the voice to the 1-2%. That's what social media has done. That's why we live in this woke world where, we see all the crap that goes on in the world. You got the 1-2% that have never had a voice, and now they're banded together and they use social media to come out, and it's the injustices and it's the this and it's the that, and you can't do that and you can't do this and whatever. So, and unfortunately, there's a lot of trolls on social media. And if you decide to be on social media, you've got to bite the bullet and take what comes, because that's just the way social media is. Look, Peterborough United has a fan base of, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,000, 20,000 we go to Wembley. Sunderland's got a fan base of 40 to 100,000 people. So it's magnified. And a club that size, when they lose a game, it's a lot worse than when Posh lose a game. So I would imagine he gets absolutely battered on a match day, because I've been battered. And for a club our size, when we've been in the top 7 or 8, I get battered. So I wouldn't even want to see his timeline. So if he's come off Twitter, it's probably best for him. I'm sure he'll return. That's my thoughts on Stuart Donald coming off Twitter. How much would you say Ivan is worth? Ivan Toney will break the record if he ever got sold out of our club in League One for a League One sale. And he's definitely worth a lot more than what we were already offered, and he's definitely worth a lot more than some of the previous sales we've had. So if we sold Ivan, and we've told clubs this already who've come in strong, it would be for a Peterborough transfer record by a lot more than what we've done before. Do you get on with current Tranmere owners? I don't know them, never met them. They seem like great owners. Are you concerned about losing the home atmosphere at the new stadium? We don't have a new stadium, so there's no point talking about atmospheres. Devon mentions club shop. Will it be merchandise only or tickets as well? It will be both. We've spent a lot of money on this club shop, myself and the partners. It's in the town. It's opening now soon. It's going to be open all through Christmas. It's a trial pilot. If it does really well, we'll be there a long time. So we will sell as much stuff as we can on site. Doesn't mean you can't come to the stadium. We still want you there, because that's also the main shop. But we're hoping this will increase our business and our presence in the city. We're really excited about this, by the way. Have you lined up a contract for Ricky J. Jones? He's already got a 3-year professional contract. We're well ahead of the game on that one. David Johnson, if you had a promotion to the Prem, would you have the original Trinity or the new Trinity play? Look, I've got to be honest with you. The new Trinity are, they're living up to that legacy, the old Trinity. If they keep going and they hit what we think they can hit heights-wise this season, it could be the greatest Trinity of all time. And that's no disrespect to the previous ones, but they've got to put promotions on their CV. You can't even compete with that Trinity without promotions. So for Ivan, Mo, and Marcus to be spoken about with the original Trinity, they've got to win us promotion. Do you have any non-footballing ventures or interests, Aaron Diskin? Yes, lots. I invest all the time. I say it all the time on here. You want investment? You want me to look at your business plans? Email me, realdarrenmacAnthony@gmail.com. I'm always looking to invest. I loan money to businesses as well for high interest returns. I play the stock markets, which I've always done a little bit. I'm getting into a bit of currency now. I actually bought a book the other day. So I'm always opening my mind to new things, and it's not just football related stuff. Tom Woods. Here we go. Do we have replacements for the front three, and do we need to sell one in the next year to meet financial fair play? Look, if we want to sign more players, we want to do some of the things we want to do in League One, yes, we would always have to sell players, because that's just financial fair play. We can't get around that. We've always got replacements in mind. We already have replacements in the building that we think young players who can step up and really break through. So, as much as you don't want to lose a great player, it's what happens at clubs our size, particularly when we're in League One. When we're out of League One and we're in the Championship, we're in a much stronger position. Jane says, looks like Sainsbury delivery man at the door. No, it's like an Amazon delivery factory here with my kids and my wife. There's so much stuff delivered night and day. So I've got that Ring app where they can leave stuff on the doorstep and you see it on the camera. So it's very good. What do you think of Dembele not being a starter? I love Dembele. He has to do more. And Dems has had some big batches of substitute appearances in games where he's done really well, not so well. He had a chance last night to come in and take that position. And like a lot of the players last night, didn't take his chance. So he has to do better. What else have we got here? How's Frankie Kent's performance since joining from Colchester? We love Frankie. Been poor for the last couple of games. He's come out, he'll come back in. He's got a massive future, but he's not perfect. So he'll improve and he's got a great mindset. So we're not worried about Frankie. Are you aware of the catering problems in the main stand? Yes, we're dealing with that. Our CEO's on that. Guy Hans asks, what do you think of Russell Martin and MK Dons? Love Russ. He was one of ours when we signed him from Wickham. I think he'll make a manager. I think it's a tough ask. If he goes in and does a great job at MK Dons, he's off and running. I think Pete's given him the job till January. I'm really, really surprised Tisdale hasn't come off there because obviously, he was a great manager at Exeter and obviously he hasn't at the time he'd like, but I think Russell will do really well. How far do you want to go in the FA Cup? Further than we've ever gone before. I'd like for a change for us to be the club that makes 2-3 million out of the FA Cup, which will help financial fair play. It will help us improve the squad. It will help our cash flow. And we've never really had a great cup run in all my 14 years at the club. So I'm hoping my partners have brought good luck on that side of things to what we're trying to do. So but Stevenage isn't going to be an easy game on Saturday. And, as much as we want to run in the cup, we've got to take care of that. So what else we got here? New contract for Marcus anytime soon? No, I'm in no rush to do that. I want him to play at the top of the best of his ability with maybe one eye on getting a big move, if that's what's driving him on. So, no, I'm not worried about his contract. Would you go back on the Roker report when you play Sunderland again? I don't think they would have me on after what happened last time. But I enjoyed being on. I think it's a great report. Is Sol Campbell a good appointment for Southend? Can he pull off miracles that he did last season? Absolutely. I think he's a good coach. I've liked him. I didn't like all the moaning he did after he left Macclesfield, and I understood the problems and whatever else, but because I don't think that's a good look for any manager. But I think he's definitely a talented coach. So I always want ex-players to do well in the game. I want them to come in and do really, really well as managers. And I respect the ones who go lower level because not everyone gets handed the Chelsea job and gets handed Derby County or gets handed Rangers, and I want some of these, instead of sitting in studios earning their big bucks, come out, get your badges, go down the leagues and do it properly. I want to see more of that. So I respect Sol Campbell he's had to take that approach because obviously he never got offered any of the big dream jobs. So I want him to do really well. Thoughts on the Salford model, class of 92. It's easy to have a go with them. They spend a fortune, they pay massive wages. But look, I'm not going to have a go at anybody who buys a football club and wants to take them to the top. So if they want to buy their way to the top, fair balls, because that's just the way it is. If they can stay within the rules and do it, and I know from speaking to some of the players that went there in the summer, they do pay a lot in wages. That's what they do. They've got some very wealthy owners, but I think their most wealthiest owner is a Singapore guy who puts a lot of the dough in. So what they're doing there is great for that city and for that town. So look, good luck to them. And I think they will probably get to the championship where they want to get to. Will we win on Sunday or not? Stephen Bates. She said, are we playing on Sunday? I thought we were playing on Saturday. I'm hoping we win. Mark Chambers. It was said recently we would not sell in January. Has this upset any players or affected their performances? We all know how fickle they can be. Nah, nothing to do with it. Absolutely. Players don't go out and play worse because they hear we're not selling anymore in January. They play for Peterborough to win promotion. They don't play for Peterborough to get moves. Those days are gone, and our players are well paid. They're well remunerated to do a job, so I don't expect that kind of nonsense. They've got to do better. A few fans on Twitter saying we need a defensive coach. What's your views on that? Bullshit. My views on that are very simple. We've made mistakes which have led to goals. And I said this earlier on. When you're in a championship, you make a mistake, it's a goal because the level's so good. When you're in League One, for every 3-4 mistakes, it's a goal. That's the way it works at League One. So it's a different level of player. And it just feels this season, every mistake we make has led to a goal. It's been freaky. But the one thing about freakiness and statistics is statistics show that won't keep going on that way. We're not going to have 3 shots against Blackpool and concede 4 goals. We play that game 4 times and we win it 3 times. That's just the way. Our luck will change, which you make your own luck. Our defense will improve and our attack will get better. They're all the things we will improve. So no, defensive coach, I don't believe in. We had it before. It's a load of nonsense. We've got good enough coaches in the building to go out with the players they have and make them better. Does Barry Fry still have regular contact with Marcus Evans? I think he does speak to him quite a lot. Any truth to the Ryan Broom rumour? No. Is Josh Knight on loan with an option to buy, or is he just on loan for the season? He's just on loan for the season. We do really well. Leicester finished top 4 and they're all happy. We hit them at the right time. Hopefully we can get them for a bargain and give them a big sell-on. So we'd love to keep Josh. Surprised at Stengel leaving Barnsley. Really surprised. Really good manager. Had them playing really well. Crap start to the championship season, but probably pulled the trigger too soon. Sold a lot of his best players. It's really, really difficult as a manager, I guess. Do you think Chelsea will end up in the top 4? All day long. We had a lot of bets in the pool thing in pre-season with the management staff. And one of the questions was Chelsea on the Lampard transfer ban. And I was the only one at the table out of 8 people who picked them to finish in the top 4. Because I knew the quality of the young players, they'd step up and they'd kill it in the Premier League. There we go. Gale, a waste of talent at Newcastle. I did an interview recently with a local journo. I said it myself, Dwight Gale needs games. He needs to be playing, not 1 game, 2 games. It's like a Jack Marriott. He needs 6, 7 games in a row. You play him for 6, 7 games, you're going to get 1 and 3, 1 and 2 goal scoring from him. So he is what he is. He is a tremendous goal scoring striker, but he's not a wide player. He is a striker. So if he gets a chance, I'm still convinced he'll score goals in the Premier League. Any truth in Maddison and Tony to Derby? No. 80 moles. Is there any optimum amount that we would see Ivan Toney go for? Yeah, it would have to be a massive, massive amount, life-changing money for the football club for Ivan Toney to go. If we don't get promotion, we can't. If we don't promote, I can't read that. Did we make an approach for Callum Camps at Rochdale? Yes, we did in the summer. We agreed a fee. The player didn't want to move away from the geography area they were in. That was fine. I think his contract was down, so we agreed a substantial fee. He's a very good player. Rochdale are a great club. They've got a great new manager. They play a certain way, and I think he's suited to them. So it doesn't surprise me if he stayed there for a long time. Good luck to him. FB1. Who will win, Liverpool or City? I'd love to say Liverpool, but I'm still stressed about Man City. I worry about Liverpool and not improving the squad in the summer, not getting a backup left back, and still not getting a world-class backup for the front 3. That really worries me. Salah missed against Man United. We drew the game. We've nicked games late. I'm not sure that can carry on. I'd like to see us dominate a few league games and win a few league games like that, like Man City can do. It stresses me. I would love us to win the league. It would be like, wow, just to get that monkey off our back that's been going on for 30 odd years, What else we got here? We want a crazy Fawaz story. You've heard all my Fawaz stories. Would 15 million for your front 3 tempt you? No. If Leeds got Gale, they'd go up. 100% agree. Have the EFL been receptive to your ideas to prevent another Bury or the nonsense that was seen for some teams like a weakened Bolton team? No, the EFL have never been in contact with me about all the things I broadcasted out on Twitter and social media. So, no. Would you go back in for Sammy Schmoddix? No. Thoughts on Ryan Bennett's great career? Love it. Love Benno. He's done really well, done us proud. And every time I see him play for Wolves, I'm very proud. Thoughts on Rooney joining Derby in January? As a coach, great. As a player, wrong. But that's my opinion. I just think looking at him in the States, I'm not sure he can do it in the Championship at his age. There we go. Were you in for James Wilson before he signed for Ipswich? No, but he's done really well. His agent's a good friend of mine, and he's done brilliant for him, and the boys done really well. Thoughts on Walsall's recruitment so far have been shocking. They've had a bad run. They need to improve, that's for sure. Do Bradford want to keep Callum Cook permanently? Barry spoke to them. He said to them that we're going to have a lot of interest in him in January because of what he's done, and his contract's up with them. We have an option to take him back, obviously, because they only have him until March or April. So if they want to keep him, they're going to have to step up and sign him. Any League Two players on your radar? Always. Phil Parkinson, good appointment. Great appointment. He's a promotion winner from League One. He can definitely handle a big club. Certain style of football, not for everybody. But I think he'll do really well at Sunderland. I think he'll definitely get them promoted. Do you think Chris Wilder's underrated? Massively underrated. Definitely, Blades fans. I couldn't say enough good things about Chris Wilder. He's just top drawer. And I knew this summer, I could just see they were going to be like top half of the Premier League. I probably said it on Twitter. And a big job comes up, and he's already in a big job, but a big job comes up. He should be definitely a front runner. Forget about all the unfashionable stuff. That man is a tactical genius. He's a motivator, and he is a winner because he's won promotion from every league, and he's going to finish probably 11th, 12th in the Premier League this year. So what more can you say about Chris Wilder? Thoughts on Charlton? Miracle. Lee Boyer, what he does there with the loans coming in, very little to spend, all the ownership issues and everything else. For him to do another young manager underrated who will probably go to the top. So Charlton have had, such a rise under him. It's brilliant to see. Do you help clubs like Kings Lynn? Supporter of both teams. Look, we're always there to help clubs if they want our help. If they want players, they want to do a deal. If we sell a player that we bought from them for big money, they've got a substantial sell on, they'll make money, they'll do well. That's the way football should work. How do you think Brendan Rodgers is doing? Listen, I'm a massive Brendan fan. I know him really well. I said to Liverpool fans when he left, I thought we made a mistake. Yes, Klopp's won the Champions League. He's done really well, but he's had the support. Brendan Rodgers had the Sturridge injury. Sterling was sold. Suarez was sold. And the season after, with very little backing, they weren't doing great. So, give Brendan Rodgers the same player Jurgen Klopp has had. He'd probably done just as well, in my opinion. And he's shown at Leicester what a terrific coach and manager he is. So, for me, always been a Brendan Rodgers fan. What else we got there? Forest Green. How's everything going at Forest Green? Brilliant. Forest Green, top of League 2, I think. Cooper's really, the evolution of Mark Cooper as a manager is a fascinating one since we had him. He's definitely one of the best managers in the lower leagues. His style of football is great to watch. And I think they'll win League 2 this year. I think they're up there. And they're a club on the up, and he hasn't spent silly money. And best of luck to him. Good for him. Which reminds me, I did a podcast with Anthony Hudson, who I wanted to give a shout out to. He used to be a manager in the MLS. He's managed the New Zealand national team. He's a young English coach. He flew out here to Orlando from where I think he lives in Colorado. And he wanted to do a podcast with me on a chairman and a manager's relationship. I tweeted earlier on my Twitter account the link to the podcast. Go and download it, listen to it. It's fascinating. And he's a great guy. Definitely one to listen to and give him a bit of a pop there. So if he's watching this. What else have we got there? Do you need investment if you got promoted and wanted to push higher in the championship? Oh, crikey, yeah. You go up to the championship, you're talking about a whole other league, and recruitment will have to be second to none. But we would look at the Brentford and Preston model and marrying it up with what we do really well, and that's what we would definitely want to look at and do as well as those clubs who are doing terrific in the championship. And you see Preston at the top of the league is just tremendous for their manager, their recruitment team. Give Peter Ridsdale fair due credit for what they've done. They've definitely put it together really well. Thoughts on Pompey this season? Poor start so far. I wouldn't be looking at Pompey as poor in any way. Doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish. Massive club, they'll be up there with a very experienced manager. What's the latest on your second book? Yeah, I'm writing a book. I'm taking my time. I'm going to get my arse in gear. I'm looking for a title actually for it. So if anyone has any good ideas on titles, you've already got The Wolf of Wall Street. Mine is all real estate based. It's about my life in sales, working in countries around the world. It's all about real estate. It's mad. And the life I had, some of it will be interpreted as it true, is it not true? I'll leave it as fact or fiction. So again, if anyone has any ideas for a good title, hit me up on that. I'll definitely reward you and look after you. What else have we got here? Pitch investments look really good. Yeah, the pitch has been great, to be fair. We spent a lot of money on it. It's definitely paid us back. So even when it was lash and rain recently, it stood really well. It was a Coventry game, wasn't it? Right, now we're going to go to Twitter for some of the questions. Tony, Ice, and Marcus. If anyone leaves in January, who's most likely to leave? All three are going to leave. I'm only joking. I have no idea. How many more points will Bolton be docked for unfulfilled games? What do you think should be the punishment, if any? Look, I don't want to get involved in the Bolton argument. I don't want to upset Bolton fans. Someone came to me the other day, was moaning about, Darren said about Bolton, a lot of the teams that played their youth teams. I think Ipswich had and Wickham had. And the Ipswich fan was really upset and said he was talking nonsense. No, he's not. Andy Holt, I'm with on this. Teams got to play the Bolton kids at the start of the season and battered and abused them at the start of the season on a football pitch, winning 5-0, 5-0, 5-0. All right? And it's made a mockery of our league in the fixtures. Now that you see now, under a good manager, with good recruitment, Bolton are winning football games. I think they beat Bristol Rovers the other day, and they beat someone else at the weekend. They will go on a run because they've got a good manager, a good coaching setup. It's a big club. They've got some well-experienced, well-paid players. And that is not fair for a league. If this league is decided at the end of the season and Wycombe or Ipswich win it by a point over Sunderland or another team who didn't get to play the Bolton under-18s and ended up losing games to Bolton, you're going to look back on the league and go, that was wrong. And you as a fan have to look at that for reality. That is not fair to our game. So it is what it is. The EFL have made an absolute mess of it, and they've allowed that to happen. And they've potentially opened themselves up to lawsuits with what they've done. And I hope that doesn't happen. So I'm just glad now that Bolton have new ownership, and whether they're going to be in League Two or have a miracle escape, they're going to come back from it. So big club, big support, and now they've obviously got new owners. So I'm sure they'll be fine. What else are we doing here? Which is easier to solve, VAR or Brexit? Whew, controversial, very controversial. Let's not get into the Brexit argument. VAR, I'm fed up with the press and journalists talking about VAR. Honest to God, they're just like, it's almost like the press over here in America moaning about Trump. It's boring. It's boring me now. We needed VAR, and it's been brought in. It's not perfect. It will be improved. By next season, massive strides. Yes, we're ironing out all the different issues with it. Yes, it's down to interpretation of Atkinson or whoever's in the booth. There's lots of VAR I don't agree with. The yellow and the red card thing. Some of the offside stuff. I was always a proponent of the NFL with your 2 challenges. You get 2 challenges a game to use or whatever else. Goal line technology has been brilliant. I think there's a better way to use VAR. And also the lack of communication when an incident happens and you don't hear what's going on. I love that in rugby. I love that in the NFL. I just think that we've ballsed it up ourselves. We've had a year to prepare for it. It's not gone through as smoothly as we'd like. I think we'll improve on that and it will make the game better. It needs to be in the game. All this nonsense from players in the media about VAR is killing the game, blah, 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 blah. Well, you've never owned a football club. You've never paid wages. You've never had livelihoods on the line. You've never had your job on the line, obviously, based on a mistake or a bad decision, if you keep preaching that. Because trust me, VAR will only be good for our game. That's my opinion, of course. So you can slate me on that, slag me at that, do what you want. Peterborough to win the league or Liverpool to win the league? All day long, Posh to win. As much as I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm Peterborough first, every day of the week. How do you think Niall Mason's getting on? Can do a lot better. He's in the top 11 for right backs in our league. He needs to improve. He's got a lot more in him. We've not seen the best of him. I think that's down to him not playing for 8-9 months, but he needs to kick on now. But I think there's a footballer in there and there's a good player in there. When you tried to get McBurney on loan from Swansea, were there other players now under 20? Look, we had McBurney signed. The reason that deal didn't happen was his agent at the hump with me. That goes back to a personal issue between his agent and me. And we were given that player, the deal was done. And then 1 minute to the deadline, and we had no chance to sign anyone else. I got the message relayed to me was, screw you, you're not getting the player. So that was like, that's how it got back to me, you know. So what's done is done. That's the way football works sometimes. People have vendettas. They like to go at you and stuff. I'm gutted we never got him. I'm a big fan of Ollie's. I think he's a tremendous young player. He's made a big error recently with the incident that he had happen, but you'll learn from it. I think he's a good young man. What do I think of Thompson? Well, Thompson was brilliant last night. One of the best right backs last year. Portsmouth definitely wanted to keep him. He will only improve us. That's why I'm really optimistic about our defence improving. These decisions even themselves out. A decision could cost you promotion, but you could grab a last-minute offside equaliser. No, I don't believe in that. I think when we get VAR perfected, it will avoid people losing their jobs. It will avoid relegations. It will avoid promotions being screwed up at Wembley. I promise you, VAR is good for our game long term. Regretting not signing Vardy? No, not at all. Brilliant. He's done brilliant. Jamie Vardy. What's great about him is, because he's now a veteran, he's 32 or whatever else, he seems to get better with age. And the one thing I've loved about Vardy is 2 things: his pace and his relentlessness. His appetite for chasing defenders down is like, Craig McHale-Smith was like that. And he's just, I love that about him. Who's the best 2 strikers in the Football League, stats-wise? Well, we know that. It's Ivan Toney and it's Mo Isa by a mile. There's no better 2 strikers in the whole of the Football League at the moment, no disrespect. We're Stoke right to sack Jones. I believe Stoke were doomed before he got there. Really tough, because I like Nathan. I thought he did a great job at Luton. I think he's a really, really good manager. He's one of them young, progressive-minded forward-thinking managers. The way he set Luton up, the way he built them up, he was backed by great recruitment, great staff there, Mick Harford at Luton. But I think it was a tough one. I think any manager going into Stoke, it's almost like, look, this is what's going to happen. We are starting again. We're going to have to bomb out these players. We're going to have to have a fresh page, and we're going to have to go again. They had a lot of players that were over from previous regimes, from the Rowett regime, and obviously the ones before that, the Mark Hughes. Really tough, big club, great ownership. They'll back any new manager that goes in there. But again, the thing they're going to get time. But with time, managers have to win. Nathan won 4 out of 36 matches. That's not good enough. He knows that himself. For a manager of his caliber, with the players he had, no matter how negative the players were or bad they were, you got to be winning more than 4 games at Stoke in a year. So Nathan will learn from that and come back for sure. What else we got here? So we're going to go here to Twitter. There we go. How happy are you with your start, honestly, from Carl Sowerby? I'm okay. I don't like we've lost 5 games in 17. With the recruitment that went on in the summer, how we've looked offensively, I wanted us to be better. I definitely wanted our 2-point per game target to be hit by now. So we're behind the 8 ball on that. Our away form has definitely cost us, and that's something we've got to improve. We're finally getting our home form resolved. So I'm not over the top, delighted with how we started. I know my partners are good with where we are. I'm not one of those. I always want more. I'm greedy for more. I want top 2. So we've got to improve, and everyone knows that at the football club. Does Posh host work experience with teenagers interested in working in the club? Last time I spoke about work experience and people coming into intern, I got absolutely hammered. Definitely a few lefties came from me. There was, some young girls coming out and saying, typical middle-aged white man and the stuff they do and the blah, 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 and the usual socialism crap that comes out of their mouth. But look, yes, we do work experience. Yes, we've done great things for interns that worked at the club. We got a young guy who's a kid of one of my friends working at the club at the moment. In between college, he's doing a shift on the media side of the club. And his dad and his mom are delighted because it's going to look so great in his CV, and the experience he's getting is invaluable. They've offered me money for him to come and work at the club. So it's something we're always looking to do within the confines of the law. Book title, Mixing Your Realtor Experience and Football Agents. Bricks and Pricks. That was very good. Bricks and Pricks. I like that. If you're looking for players to scout in League 2, don't come to Walsall. Thank you for the tip. What else have we got? So we got another probably 6-7 minutes. Again, not Periscope, so this is new. But hopefully this is something people will enjoy and you can watch it back. And we'll do more of these as well. The questions have been, there's a lot up here and I haven't been able to answer them all. A couple more to close out. I'm going to pick up on the ones that Phil has sent over. We didn't actually talk any business today, by the way. And I was hoping some people would come on and we do a little bit about on business and life, but that's fine. I'm going to do a video anyway. I'm going to do part 2 to my big video that's already on here about my business commandments that I live and die by. So anyone that's on here at the moment, subscribe, go through my videos, have a look at some of the videos. There's some great videos on there about business, my life in sales, things I've done well, things I haven't done well. I'm not perfect. Here we go. So someone's asking why the reasons we've lost 2 away games. I've got no idea. I'm not a manager. I'm not a coach. We're not perfect. We're definitely not ready to be in the top 2 of the league. That's shown with the last 2 performances, and that's something we're going to have to improve on. Consistency. Steve Oxley says, in my opinion, we need a defence coach. The Gaffer and Gavin were midfielders. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. No, I don't agree. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. We don't need a defence coach. So we've got very good coaches at the football club. David Brockley says, when we had a fans forum about moving the ground, you were asked by someone, why not let the fans decide and have a ballot at a home game? You thought it was a great idea. When is it going to get done? You just can't live life like that. So I understand where you're coming from. Yes, it's a democracy. Yes, you want to hear your thoughts of your fans and everything else, but ultimately it'll be us who's going to pay for the current stadium or a new stadium. That's our money. That's our next on the line. You know, that's us. You know, we get finance and mortgages being guarantors for it. So if fans want to be guarantors for it, that's a different story. You get a bigger vote. We're always going to listen to your opinions. We're always going to consult with you. We're always going to keep you, briefed on what we're doing. We want to do the right thing for the football club and definitely for the city. So I think whatever decision we come to will be the right one for the fans and the football club. And I hope you understand that, you know. So that's it, really. So the other one I want to mention is Westlife. We got, the Life are coming to London Road next summer, our stadium, the Western Home Stadium. So make sure you go online and buy your tickets. We've got a lot of good things happening. We've got the under-18s are obviously second, third in their league. They're doing really well. They've got some big cup games coming up. I think we've been drawn to play Peterborough Sports in the Youth Cup, I think. So that's going to be exciting. Local rivalry, definitely in the first round. And that's all really I've got time for today. We've done nearly an hour, and I hope it's been good for everyone else out there. I got one more question down here. Your plight on the clubs your opinion on the plight of clubs like Macclesfield, Bury, Oldham. Money in lower leagues are poor. More clubs will go to the Wolves soon. Stuart Hayes has asked. Look, Andy does enough talking for me on Twitter. Andy Holtz on his opinion on that. I know he's always, he does like to bitch and moan about clubs going out of business, and he's definitely not a good advertisement for someone wanting to sell their football club. Is anyone reading that would run a mile? I agree with him on most things. Some of the stuff I think he can be OTT on, like I am on other stuff. And yeah, after what happened with Bury and with Bolton, we have issues. We have fundamental issues. We've got problems in our league. I don't think they're as bad as they're made out by some out there. I think some people love hysteria. I think we need to clamp down. We need to change the rules. I think we need to engage more with each other. We have a new chief exec at the EFL, a new chairman. I think you're going to see changes coming. They won't happen right now. They'll probably be in place for next season. And nobody wants to see these great clubs go to the wall. And after what happened to Bury, which is very sad, we don't want to see any more of those happen anytime soon. So I think Macclesfield, the owner, he didn't pay the wages recently or something. But I don't know about their financial situation. But all I know is that our industry definitely needs new regulations. They definitely need some new rules, needs tweaking, and it needs all of us to come together to make that happen. So here we go. David Johnson, you hate racism but support Trump. Yeah, I mean, everyone says that all the time. Donald Trump's a racist. I'm not getting into the politics of it again. Like I said, I'm not with the mainstream media on that. I'm not with the obviously the left on this either, particularly the radical left who like to use that as their. I live in America. I see it a lot more than you in the UK see what goes on over here. I see the truth, and I hate racism more than the next person. So you want to keep throwing that at me all the time? Come give it to me. I'm a Republican. I'm a conservative. That's the way I vote. If you can't disagree with my politics and we can't have a debate about it, that's unhealthy, and that's typical. The epidemic of 2019 and the woke world we live in. Keep reporting me to all those different associations because you disagree with my political beliefs. Doesn't make me a racist, and it doesn't make you a racist either because you're on a different side of the spectrum to me. This is the world we live in now. We should be allowed to debate and have an open, healthy debate about these things and these topics. Racism is something we need to get rid of in football, and it's something we will get rid of in football. But we need everyone to come up with better ideas and plans on how to make it happen. And we need you, the fans, digging out people who are doing it and going straight to stewards, and let's get them on camera and let's get them arrested. That's the best thing we can do. David Johnson, again, hire more minorities. Again, I get where I don't know where you're getting with all of this, David. Hire more, you look at the staff and the people around our club, again, I don't know where you're coming from with that. It's not like you go and see the 50 staff that work for Peterborough and it's just all white people that work there. It's not how we operate. And it's certainly not how I operate when I hire a manager or I hire anybody to work in my business. I don't even look at it like that. I don't see black or white. I know lots of people do. I don't. I just judge people on their merit and their talent, and it's the way it should be. So I suggest you get off social media moaning about it and go make a difference. Would you ever start a business with a player? Absolutely. Loads of players have loads of money. If they want to join in or they want me to invest with them and they have a good idea, let's do it. So there we go. Someone said finishing time for Emmerdale. So I'm going to shut it down right there. Again, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Let's do it again. Maybe the next one we do, not so football orientated, let's do it on business and life, because that's something I enjoy talking about as well. And I'm always open for any questions whatsoever you've got. So I wish you all the best. To all the non-posh fans out there, I appreciate you tuning in. Good luck for the season with your clubs, and take care, everybody. Thank you.